All right, so let's continue with this conversation. um, that is supposed to be the party we all should play for our country if we really love it. These gloves of Nigeria being champions, we should use it to literally as a new, um, if you want to call it movement or political party, whichever one, however terms you want to put on it. But the bottom line is to bring everybody's heart into one place. People's hearts has been scattered all over the place. You know, some people say they want to be Oduduwa, some people say they want to be Biafra, some people say they want to be Nigeria, everybody's confused. You don't even know where you want to go. Because all these things that you're trying to say, call yourself or, branch out and do all of that is really not, is not that easily achievable. You know what I mean? And you cannot continue grinding the same thing forever and ever and ever, and then you've not achieved it. If you achieve it while you were screaming out about it now, and maybe you are not there to see it achieved, you're dead and gone, and your next generation, children, comes and are still not able to get to where you wanted to go, then you have been wasting your time all this while trying to get a new country. So let's bring our minds back into one place. If you ever happen to find yourself in that geographical region called Nigeria as a country, the problem that has spoiled it are the people that have run it thus far. I want us to think like this as a country, as a people. It will be good for everybody to have one national agenda for the sake of the country. It is also easy to pick up those that have compromised that mindset of the people. These gloves is the new symbol for that. One mindset of Nigeria. Look at Nigeria as being a champion. Look at Nigeria as a place that have gone through adversity and now is coming out of that adversity as a champion. Put your mind in one place. Let's all come back to one place. Let's get back to the drawing board here. So far, the way the world look at us as a country or as a people or as a group of a nation, it's terrible. It's so saddening. It's so heartbreaking to hear expressions of people when they express and speak of the things that we are going through as a country at this moment. I think we have grown to a state of mind as human beings, first and foremost. If at this point, as human beings living in that region, are unable to do things right and just live happily ever after, be self-sufficient in whatever they have and live happily ever after, if we cannot attain that as a nation, then everybody deserves to, flush themselves somewhere, because we cannot live like that, and we cannot continue to keep this image for this long. People stealing money, all this money that individuals calling themselves politicians of today, all this money that they have gotten, how many of them lifted a big rock on their backs for the country? How many of them cracked a rock for the country? How many of them did one labor, one serious manual labor that almost broke their back for the country to accrue this much money when it is you, me and you, I, me and you, as a Nigerian, we know in our heart that that's also your money. But this one person has, for some reason, somehow found himself in a place where he has stolen or captured this money to themselves in a quantity that is unreal. And yet that quantity of money that he has only taken for himself, if shared for everybody, people will be so happily fed that crime would be zero. Crime only occurs when people are hungry, when people are desperate. Every type of crime, all type of crime occurs when people are totally desperate of survival, of just human survival. So these things are not right, because if the politicians are the ones being the richest in the country and the population are the ones suffering the consequences of people taking their own money, these few people have taken the quantity of the money for everybody. And it is wrong. We all know it's wrong. They themselves, they know it's wrong. They should, as a matter of fact, politicians, let's put it like this, politicians should be the least paid in the country because they have access to the country's money. So their salary should be minimum wage, if that makes sense. So that if you are ready to compromise the system for anybody to have excess amount of money or X amount of money when the country is supposed to be balanced out, somehow balanced out, if you're willing to compromise that comfort zone, then let them be the ones receiving the least salaries. If that ever makes sense to any of you Nigerians. But let's get back to the main subject. I think we can make Nigeria better. I think we can do that. We can start by solving the monetary problems of the country first and foremost. That's very doable. Everybody should be able to, especially if you are unemployed. The unemployment system should be set up first and foremost. People shouldn't be so overly greedy that they make X amount of money and it's not questionable or it's not taxed. You know what I'm saying? As a politician, if the tax system of Nigeria was working and then politicians had this amount of money, they should be the highest taxpayers, which will cut down their salary. If you make 100 million and you pay almost 20% or almost 50% of that 100 million in that bracket of salary, in that bracket, you should be the highest tax person. In this case, this will also, people will not be too much of interested in being in political offices because the taxes for politicians are so high and too much. You know what I'm saying? But then the right things could still be done. I believe that insecurity can be solved easily. I also believe that crime can also be cut down in half or more than that, or even eliminated. If people are paid $50 into their account, if you are unemployed or as a citizen, you are able to go online to the government website, which is well secured and well encrypted with your credentials as a citizen. You log in there and file your stuff, and they pay it on the pay date. I promise you, crime will come down. Don't you think so? Crime will certainly come down. If not eliminated, it depends on the amount of money you pay. If you pay more, you probably eliminate crime. But you're not paying everybody equally. That's the problem. You're still making the richer and the poorer. Immediately you change that sphere. Immediately you change that paradigm. You have completely shifted the whole stuff. If what I'm saying makes sense. These things are very doable. Absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. You know, with this, you can also use this system to weed out those who don't belong to the country. And then improve security based on that. If that makes sense. Let's shift this to a different level. Police. Nigerian police, you don't have to always scream on top of your voices and jump around and slap people and talk on top of and act like you're very, very angry. You're very mad. They have provoked you so much. As if it's your personal, you're fighting this thing, it's your personal fight. If you're fighting like that for Nigeria, then your actions are wrong to start with. Because you don't have to scream. You have to communicate. It's called communication. None of you have communication skills. You just jump around, slap people, scream on top of your, hold people's clothes, drag people, kick people, slap people, fight, drag, and you have a long gun in your hands. There are crazy people out here who don't mind to die. If you slap them anyhow, it will provoke something that is inside of them and they will collect that gun from somehow because they are trained like that. And they will use that gun against you. You've never met people like that before, have you? I'm not sure you have yet. But there are people out there who don't mind to die. If you hit them, it will spark something out of them and they know something that you probably don't even know. And they'll collect that gun from you and probably shoot you with that your same gun. You don't have to scream at people because you're not taking that job personal like that you get upset and scream at people and you make noise, you fight in the street, you hold people's clothes, you beat women up, kick people, do people anyhow. You don't do that. That's not your job. Nobody gave you the authority. Not even God didn't give you that authority, and nobody out here in the government system that gave you that authority to ask you to do that. What you should do to improve the government system, because you are the law, is to act right. When somebody is committing offense or crime, you surround them, command them down, speak to them, read them their rights, and put them in handcuffs, and take them to book them down and take them to the court. That will make money for the court. That will make money for the country. That you are doing your job for the country, because it's those who break the law that will pay. You know what I mean? But how you yourself, you break the law because at the end of the day, you're trying to, intimidate that person to bring out money to pay you. You break the law there. How do you want the country to be? Or why do you keep doing this and you complaining that the country and that the politicians are doing this? Politicians have done their own. Politicians are doing that because people sold their votes to them. Any of these politicians that came, none of them came with plans, solid plans that everybody displayed that plan on on a board and speak through that plan step by step how these problems will be fixed. The reason they are going there because they know they are the people who are endowed with the knowledge of how this problem could, experts in this field of problems. They are the problem solvers. But somebody just comes and calls himself a politician, and that's whom you sell your vote to. And when you know that person is going to a public office, that public office is like a money room where money is kept. All of us, we know that. You know that, we know that. But how cheap could you get? How hungry can you get to sell your vote and collect money from that person? You've sold it. You've sold your right there. You have sold your citizenry rights right there. You collected the money. The amount of money you collected in your hand and the little food you collected was what was you were worth at that moment, and probably worth for the rest of your life. Because when you accessorize that person to go into that money room, that office, that public office, you are telling that person to go and recover all the money that he had paid you and much more. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? Basically, you are encouraging that person to go and recover that money. So you started that corruption. You started that. You compromise. You are the compromise. You didn't take your time to pick solutions provider, people that understand, people that are there to fix the problems that you're seeing around you. You're only picking a guy who says he's a politician. He comes with a sack of money, with a big stomach, fat face, maybe an old name that you've heard and known before. Those are the ones you allow to go into these public offices and steal. And do you think, when somebody pays you money off, you think when they go into that money room, they will continue to pay you again off? Pay you for what? They've paid you off. The first time you sold it, you collected the money. Had you known, you could have collected that money enough to fix your life for the rest of your life, because he's going to that money room to steal the money that he will fix his life for the rest of his life. But you stupidly have sold your own for a little bit of beans and 200 naira. You see, rat is even smarter. I don't care how hungry you are, for you to even stoop that low to sell your vote, knowing that that person is going to go steal X amount of money in sacks, in bags, and in dollars, in high value currencies. Then you must be really, really stupid. You must be really, 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 really stupid to even call yourself a human being. Then you should not survive. You shouldn't live on this earth, because in human race, we don't need people that stupid. As hard as things are, we don't need stupid people. We need intelligent people to make things better in life, for life. You see what I mean? The day you stop selling your vote, compromising the system and compromising yourself, selling your soul for a little bit of money for cheap, that is the day you start to drive a certain message to politicians. You have to be you have to be knowledgeable. The world needs to know you for your skills in a certain field, for you to come and play on that field of politics, knowing that you are going to bring solutions to the problems that we found on the ground today, as we're experiencing as a country. If you don't play politics in that level, and you're only playing based on your political affiliation with a certain party, umbrella or broom, if that's the type of politics you play, you are really doing the wrong thing. You don't know what you're doing. You might, I think you're a sick person. You don't know what you're doing. And you really, really believe, and you go so far with these things that you believe that you fail to do the basics, the groundwork of this politics. In your party that you're playing, have any of your politicians come to sit down to tell you how they are going to fix a certain problem that they are seeing around here? For example, I was bringing a solution, a example of a country where it's an oil-producing country. So by right, the money is available. If not for anything else, the money that has been recovered through this EFCC loop people, let's see where that money has gone. Because borrowing should not be a factor here. In our country, borrowing should not be a factor. Nobody should go borrowing a dime from nobody. We are self-sufficient. We have enough, more than enough. So those that have gone borrowing, we will bring them back and question them and put them on the dock to know what exactly they meant and who is going to pay for those debts. Nobody will have immunity against that when time comes to ask these questions. All these monies that were borrowed, what was being done? What happened to them? How were they spent? Why were they even borrowed to start with? Because it was completely unnecessary. It's unreal. It's like people are being covered in their eyes with a blindfold. You cannot do that. You know? You cannot do that. So what I'm saying in effect is